Wait a minute. There I am. There I am. What is going on, y'all? What is going on? Greetings, greetings. Wade, happy Wednesday. Miss Autumn. Where's Autumn? I saw her up in here somewhere. Sherry, there you go, love. There you go. Sal, keeping it down, holding it down. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Um, Everybody, I gotta let you know something. I've been up since 5 a.m. I had to be at that job at 7 a.m. And babies, she is exhausted. Shit. Yeah, I did my little thing, posted it, all that. She was there. But anyway, Sal, Wade, Sherry Allen, how is everyone doing? Wait a minute, let me do this because Mr. Stevens is shadow banned. And I know he's gonna make his way up here right there. Hello, my love. Wait. Hello, darling. How are you? Let me do this. Let me, y'all, you know what, y'all? These settings, they just won't stay. There you go. There we go. We're gonna keep it like that. I'm sorry, I'm late. I was busy trying to get some good visuals for before I came on. And I'm gonna tell you something, everybody. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Babies, when you are tired, when you are baby, when you tired, yeah, everything just seems to slow down. How has everybody been? The Say something in the chat so I can respond while I'm trying to get these visuals together for us. Give me something, y'all. Okay, I got them right there. Okay, got that right there. I got that. Yeah, I knew you'd be there. How we doing, sir? How is your day?
Very long.
I can always count on you, Mrs. You know what, baby? I'm gonna tell you something. This streaming service, $59 a month. If for nothing else, Mr. Stevens, you make it worth it.
Oh, thank you.
How
Oh
you
my
doing,
goodness.
babe? How you doing?
I'm tired and I had a very long day. Wednesdays are usually a very long day. Nothing really happened. It was just the same old, same old. I'm starting to like spring. Spring is starting to look really beautiful. And I think that's Empress energy. I think because we
It
are in
is.
Empress
It
energy.
is. It is.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, baby, you are not late. You are not late to class, my love. Thank you for stopping by. Wait. Up. Oh, wait. And then Cheryl, when I'm done with Mr. Stevens, we need to get the update on the school. Okay. Okay. There you go. All right, Mr. Stevens. I'm so sorry. Continue.
You're fine. Yeah, and I think because I notice it around every time around this year, it's just like you start to see the beauty of spring. And I think that's my inner Empress energy. It's like it's just everything starts to become beautiful once the cherry blossoms start to fade away, and then I kind of feel like the Empress a little bit. But it's just beautiful. I love spring.
You're supposed to, darling. And Mr. Stevens, today is Earth Day. So, I
Oh,
mean, you are in her garden right now. And the thing is that we'll talk more about that because again, today is Earth Day, and these next 4 days we are opening a portal that has not been open in 77 years. So you could be feeling that energy as well.
oh, wow.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm dog tired. I am dog tired, but I'm telling you, it was like I had to come on live. I could have easily sat my fat ass on that couch and watched a new episode of The Testaments, but baby, I was like, nope, I gotta talk to the Terobites, see what they going on, see how everything is doing. Cover your mouth when you yawn, mister. You on camera too. There you go.
I'm sorry.
Did
I'm
nobody else
sorry.
wisdom teeth you got? Okay.
You're funny. You're funny.
All right.
Okay.
All right, baby. Thank you.
I'll see
Thank
you.
you
All
for
right.
coming
Bye.
up and always making, always, giving the show some love. All right. Cheryl, come on, Miss Autumn. What are we doing, baby? What are we doing? Give us an update. Give us an update. Yes. And while Miss Autumn is coming up, how's everyone doing? How's everybody doing? Thank you all so much for coming, stopping on by. But wow, sure. There we go. There we go. We got Miss Autumn right here. We got Miss Autumn. My love. You got, wait a minute. With that smile, it's got to be good news. Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
Well, the last meeting was yesterday. Well, the event itself, it rained. It was very cold. We waited. We said we're not. It wasn't an option to have another date, like a rain date, because tomorrow is the day they're going to decide if our school would be chosen to stay open. But yesterday they did have they had a meeting yesterday as well. Um the meeting was very disheartening. Um Basically, the decision was made years ago. And when I was allowed to speak, it was politics, our voices will be heard by the school district, the politicians, and all that stuff. And I went off. I went off so bad. I didn't curse, but I did get my point across. My head was hurt, my ears was popping. I was so tears was running down my face. I started to lose my voice. And it wasn't because I was yelling. It was because it was like, who do we have? We live in a very poor neighborhood. We
Too
live in
much energy was coming through.
huh?
Too much energy was coming through.
Yes. And I was like, we already live in a very poor area of the city. And when Obama was in office, he actually labeled our section the promise zone, and which means that we were allotted like grants for different things in in our neighborhood, like, funding and stuff. And I said, what happened to that money? What happened to the soda tax money that's for the schools and for pre-K? And the school that I'm fighting for is one of the only schools in our area that has pre-K. So I said, what happened to that money? I said another thing. I said, it's sad that you politicians continue to lie to us. You had us to believe that we had a fighting chance, and we never had a chance at all. That, these people pockets were lined with money to lie to us and to have us to believe that everything was going to be okay. But they were paid off to keep the facade, going. And I said, it's so unfair. I said, who do we have? We don't have nobody. I said, and I think it's a disservice, not only to the neighborhood, to the community, but for the students as well. We have a highly populated IEP community with our children. They have like intellectual needs on top of homelessness needs. And I said, what happens to them? I said, y'all don't give a damn. Y'all don't give a damn. And I said, it's sad and it's pathetic. I said, y'all wanted to try to push it till May because May is when we vote for y'all. I said, I'm telling you now, I ain't voting for none of you. And I'm telling everybody in my neighborhood what liars and shysters you guys are. And don't vote for none of you. None of y'all. And I mean that. I said the event we did, we got a whole lot. I mean, the people that did come out when the sun came out for us just long enough to get together and see old teachers, old alumni, or whatever. I said, and I was grateful for that. And, I said, hopefully our efforts wasn't in vain for whatever is to come. I said, but we don't need no more housing. And that said, you're gonna give these developers, our neighborhood, y'all gentrifying our neighborhood, not to just push us out, but push our children out. Y'all don't give a damn about us. And stop lying. I said, that's why I don't do the political nothing here in Philadelphia. I was so upset. And the woman that was, handling the meeting, all she did was hold her head down and shake her head. She couldn't even give me a response. And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I said, I'm not looking for a response from you. You're just handling the meeting. I said, but it's sad and it's pathetic. And for everybody who watching, because it was a Zoom, that's looking for a vote from me, I know maybe my one vote may not count. I said, but since we lost our school, I'm going to make sure before May 15th that y'all don't get no votes, not from this neighborhood.
Autumn, let me say this. So I was feeling your energy, and you heard me shuffle these cards, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I know you feeling defeated.
I feel it. I do feel defeated. I do.
I know you feel tired, and I know you feel mad. Your work ain't done, Autumn. I got a girl, as you was shuffling. Now this is mine. This is my deck. This was my deck, and that's why I was like holding this card. And this card right here says, "Now is the moment that you've been waiting for." Autumn, I'm gonna tell you something. The objective was not given, but you got momentum, you got motion, you got power. This is not the time you break that down. That last statement that you said, I'm gonna make sure that nobody, baby, there's more work to be done. There's more work to be done. Losing that school was the symptom. That ain't the battle. I mean, that's not the war. You understand? That was only a battle. That's not the war. You got bigger things going on. And I know your heart was set on that. I know your heart was set on that. I know your heart is set. Darling, the universe only calls on its strongest soldiers. And that, let me ask you this, Autumn. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done differently?
Nothing.
You don't think so?
No, because you know what? As far as with the politicians, I'm a strong voice in this community when it comes to them. I'm so strong, and I'm not bragging or boasting that at meetings they won't allow me to speak. At some meetings they won't allow me to speak.
That's power.
Yeah, and they was like, "You're gonna behave." I said, "What you mean behave? I'm grown."
Yeah, don't talk to me like that.
Yeah, I said, "What you mean?" Where they was passing the mic all across me. And I said, "Well, can I get the mic?" "Well, you can write your question down." So I said, "Okay." I laughed. Or my question was never read. And I just laughed. I said, "Y'all funny up in here." I said, "But it's okay. It's okay." And when they see me, they run past me. I said, "How you doing?" Y'all still liars.
Woo! Autumn.
Y'all still liars.
I'm shuffling. This one says, "Never allow anyone to get comfortable into treating you like you're average." They're afraid of you, baby. They're afraid of you. And where there's fear, Autumn, there's power. When there's fear, there's power. If you can sit here and say you wouldn't have done anything different, that you're solidified in that, sweetie, you did what you could. You did what you could, but your work's not done. Your work's not done. And the thing is that people are going to see the effort that you put forth. And you know what, darling? And maybe it's time for you to step back. Not stay out of the game, but step back. Because the thing is, Autumn, is that when you go out on the limb so hard for people get comfortable in letting other people do that shit.
Yes. Yes, they do.
You fought harder for these kids than their own parents did.
And true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
You know, And it is what it is, baby. And it is what it is. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, darling. I want you to understand something though, Autumn. These feelings, the feelings of defeat and all that stuff, baby, that is information. That is just information. Dissect that. Dissect that. Why was this, why was this so hard? You know what I'm saying? Why? And girl, listen, so wait a minute. Baby, look, you don't even know this individual.
Yes. I don't. Thank you so
You
much.
don't.
I need that. I needed that. Thank you so much. This is, it's so heartbreaking for me though. I cried. I was crying.
You're supposed to, Autumn. You're
Oh,
supposed
that hurt me. That hurt me. That hurt me.
You gotta let that pain out.
I
You're supposed to. You were supposed to cry. You were supposed to feel hurt, Autumn. But what you're not supposed to do is stay there.
You're right.
What you're not supposed to do, what we're not doing is staying there.
Right.
And what we're doing, we're going to dip our toe back in the water and do what we can where we can. That's it. That's all. Baby. So, yeah, get in your body. Get in your body. Number one, you know that you, Autumn.
Yes.
Say it. I fought the best fight I could. Say it.
I fought the best fight I could.
And you got to let that land right there, baby. I fought the best. Baby, you cannot make a community work when they don't want to do the work.
And that's true.
You are one woman, Autumn. You are one woman. You are not supposed to stay. You're not. There was only so much you could take. You needed a team. You needed help. And you took the licks.
Yeah.
You took them licks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am, and I need all the prayers I can get.
And we're giving it to you, Mama.
Thank you so much.
Baby, you can cry here.
I know it.
Young family.
Ronnie, that hurts so bad. Chills just going through me because I just know the disservice it's going to do to our community. I just know the disservices. And these people, they making these decisions with not just our school, but schools all over the city. And they don't even come to these neighborhoods. They're not even familiar with these neighborhoods and the work and, the people that come together to try to, to rally around these children. And, just like they just don't know. They don't know. They just choose in schools like, well, our school, we're in a poor area, but we're close to transportation. We're near the Philadelphia Zoo. So they trying to gentrify our neighborhood. But our children that live here, they are displacing them. And they have to get on buses. And we got little babies that go to this school. I'm so sorry.
You ain't gotta be sorry.
It hurts so bad. What about our babies that walk to school? What happens to them? They're not even talking. I said, well, what about transportation for them? Oh, well, we're going to figure it out. I say, ain't that some shit? You're going to figure it out? You don't even know the impact that you're making on these babies, man.
Autumn, these things do not happen in a vacuum. These things do not happen in a vacuum. How much more would have happened if more of the community was screaming the way you were? So, and Autumn, and I know you fighting for these babies. I know you fighting for these children. And sometimes, baby, you got to step back. Sometimes you got to step back. Trust and believe, Autumn. I was hoping for you.
I was too. I was like, God, I'm not going to Because they kept saying they gonna close it. I said, no, they not. They're gonna keep it open. They gonna keep it open. I was just really holding on to faith. I really, really was. I was holding on to faith so tight. I'm like, God, I was praying, I was manifesting. I'm like, God, please don't close our school. We need our school. Our children need our school. And they just said, the hell with our kids, give it to a developer. I said, we don't need no more housing in our neighborhood. Why are you going to turn this beautiful school into housing? We don't need no more. We got housing in our neighborhood that's empty because people can't afford to live in them. Why put more? I said, that don't make sense. Make it make sense. And that's when I found out these people in city council, they getting paid. So these developers could take over our neighborhood. And they lied to us and tell us something different just so we don't raise hell. It was parents, Miss Ronnie. It's them parents that got some of the parents that of the children at the school. They didn't even know the school was closing. They didn't even know.
That's the tipping point right there. That's the tipping point right there. Autumn, sometimes, let me say this, baby, the disappointment can shake a person. But that doesn't mean that your belief was meaningless. Okay. It just didn't, how do I want to say this? It just didn't produce the results that the expectation was attached to. And the thing is, baby, is that I know you was holding on to faith, and the fact that the results didn't come in, that didn't mean that faith was failing. It was that expectations were clashing with reality. And sometimes what the expectation that we want isn't aligned with what's manifesting later. Trust and believe, Autumn, that the efforts, the energy, and the prayers that you put forth, they did not go in vain. They did not go in vain. Something has got to come up for you. We cannot put forth that energy and it doesn't come back to us. It may not come back to us in the manner that we want, but it will come back to us. Autumn, you needed a team. You needed a few Autumns. And if you look around, were there people around you that was just as strong as you?
No.
Mama, you was fighting a system alone. You was fighting a system alone. You needed a coalition. You needed a coalition. That's where the power's coming in. That's where the power's coming in. You're not done. You disappointed, you defeated, but you're not done. You're not done. You're not cut that way, baby. You're not cut that way. You can rest. You can rest. Your shift is over. Your shift is over. You don't even have kids that go to school. Not there.
Nope, I don't. My children are grown.
Okay. So, Mama, I'm here to tell you, you cannot want more from your environment than your environment wants for itself. And I know that's hard to hear. But girl, you got these politicians on the ropes. You got them on the ropes. And that's power. And that's power. Are you going to behave today if you don't get the fuck out of my face with that bullshit? Are you going to behave today? You going to kiss my ass today? It's okay. It's okay. And Mama, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry because I knew that you had your hopes on that. I knew that you had your hopes on that. But baby, this is you far from done. You far from done. You far from done. And baby, and every time you go to one of those meetings, you can throw that shit up in their face. And you closed our schools. And you closed our schools. And you closed our schools because that is shit that they're not going to be able to get away from.
Yes.
And you closed our schools.
Yes.
And who's to say, baby, this may actually work in your favor. Because the fact is that now these parents are going to have to be forced with just sitting back and not being inactive. And maybe this is the wake-up call that they needed. Darling, when you look at the geopolitical landscape right now, baby, the Democrats flipped Virginia. All right. How many years was Virginia red?
Yes.
And how many autumns were in Virginia telling these people to fucking wake up? But it wasn't until shit hit them personally that's when that happened. You were just trying to buffer the blow. You were just trying to prevent the worst from happening. You could have done that by yourself, Autumn. You could not have done that by yourself. Mama, you fought the good fight. You don't have anything to regret. You ain't got shit to regret, Mama.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you everybody for all the inspiring words and your prayers. I need them. Because this is really hard for me right now. This is really hard for me, and I know I get over it, but it's hard. It's hard for me right now.
Wait a minute. You know what? You ain't got to get over it, but you ain't got to stay there.
Right.
You ain't got to get over it, and you ain't got to stay there. But Autumn, turn that pain into power.
I will.
Turn that pain into power.
I will.
Because you are a formidable woman, sweetheart. And this happens to the best. This happens to the best. They won this fight. The war's not over yet. The war's not over yet. And you're gonna use their victory against them, sweetie. You're gonna use their victory against them. This is political jujitsu at this point. Yep.
I know.
Good. All right. What you got to drink in that house?
Huh?
You got anything in that house to drink?
Oh, I don't drink or smoke.
Really? No gummies, no nothing?
No.
Oh, girl, you just be raw dogging life.
I do.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't. Oh, I can't. I can't. Listen, because then you're going to have to be doing the Free Miss Ronnie Fund. Yeah, no.
No. Cigarettes is the only thing I smoke. So
yeah.
I got some juice and some water, though.
Yeah,
I got some juice and some water, but I'm going to drop down so you can finish. And I just want to give my love to all the viewers and all the prayers. That means a lot to me. And thank you.
You're not alone up in there, baby. You're not alone up in here. You fought the good fight. You fought the good fight, sweetie. All right. And these people should be proud to have you in their community.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to get back in the chat.
All right, baby. All right. Yes. Thank you, Wade. Yeah, you never know what anybody's going through. You never know what anybody's going through. And and when you fight and it's not even for you, that is something. But Autumn, thank you so much for sharing. And darling, you know what? We're here for you. And I just got a feeling that this isn't the last of it. I got a feeling this isn't the last of it. But here we are, y'all. Here we are. April 22nd. Today is Earth Day. Right here. Where's Gaia? There she is. Gaia. Mother Earth. Today is today was all centered on one thing. And that was bringing attention back to the state of the planet and how we as human beings, how we are impacting it. And this day started in 1970, and it was a grassroots response. There was there were no corporations behind this. There was not, it was very raw. And people were just reacting to what was already very loud, too loud to ignore. They was reacting to the pollution in their air, damaging, their water supply, industrial systems leaving their mark across the land and how it impacted their lives. And what started in the USA didn't stay there. It spread fast and it turned into a worldwide day of action across more than 190 countries with over 1 billion people involved. And on the surface, Earth Day shows up as like, cleanups and planting trees, talking about sustainability and education and environmental advocacy, real work and physical action, on the ground correction. But underneath it, there's something deeper. And it's a pause. Today, Earth Day is a collective check-in. It's a moment where everything slows down just enough for the reality to cut through. And that reality is that this Earth is not separate from us. She's the system we're moving inside of every single day, whether we are conscious of this or not. When you shift into like a spiritual or metaphysical view of the earth stops being something that's beneath us. This earth, it's not passive. She's responding, and not emotionally, and not in an angry or pleased kind of way. That's human projection. But what's actually here is a living system regulating itself, adjusting and correcting and constantly rebalancing, across all spiritual traditions. The earth was seen as like a living being. That's where we got the name Gaia. It was a system that holds balance through movement and correction and reset. All of these natural, like the seasons. So there was nothing random about what's going on this earth. It works like, it looks like disruption, but very often it's a response. And sometimes what looks like chaos in the system is actually the earth trying to correct herself. And when we've got these tsunamis and hurricanes and earthquakes and things of that nature, that's not the earth punishing us. That is the earth rebalancing herself. And then from that lens, we can look back and say that the earth isn't judging us. She's just protecting herself. She's reflecting what's out of alignment, the overconsumption, the disconnection from a natural rhythm, taking more than what we restore. Taking more than what we restore. And when the pressure builds, that system responds. And like we've got weather shifts, the weather shifts harder. Ecosystems, they will destabilize, the land, water, and air. It starts breaking down in ways that are harder for us to imagine. And that's not because the earth is angry. She's just in balance, and she can't stay like that forever. And the message underneath all of that is really simple. And that is, human beings, we threw her off her pace. Extraction is way too heavy. Deforestation, what we do to the water tables, all of those things. And the restoration isn't matching it. And energy doesn't stay distorted forever. It moves back towards balance one way or another. There's another layer to this. We humanize nature because it helps us process what feels too big or too full to hold. You ever notice how we call hurricanes, we name them women? And even with the earth, we personify her as a woman. And that's so that we're not outside of this system watching it fall apart. When we humanize that, we actually think that we have some type of control, because we're all, when, how do I want to say this? What happens to the earth reflects how we are living inside of her. And disconnection out there usually mirrors the disconnection in here. So the rhythm, and the self-awareness, when we have these disrupted weather patterns, that's not punishment. That is simply rebalancement. And she's always going to keep showing this to us. So we got to get back into balance so that, she doesn't have to do all this heavy lifting for us. And I mean, here it is. You look at that city and it doesn't offer anything, for nature to come through. But at the end, nature, Gaia, she will always win. And we've got to remember that, we do not control her. We are her guest. And that is a lot of things that people do not understand. So that right there, that's the portion for Earth Day. Let me see what happened. Sal said, I did my part. I stayed inside. Good. Congratulations. Okay. We got more things coming up though. The next 4 days, we are going to be experiencing one of the biggest shifts in 77 years. This is a 77-year portal right there. Big energy is going to bring us to fresh starts and bigger wins that we've ever felt before in our lives. So the next 4 days there's a huge shift beginning on April 25th. On April 25th, Uranus moves into Gemini, and that's the first time that it's done that since 1949. And these changes are going to be changes how we think and how we see our life and what feels true for us. Old thoughts are going to drop off. Fresh ideas are going to be pouring in. And what is meant for us is going to show up in ways that we didn't plan. Yep. This is going to be an awakening, a liberation. So this energy, like I said, it's going to clear out doubt, fears, worry, noise. We're going to feel more awake. We're going to feel more clearer, more open, and more ready. And it's almost like our spirit already knows that it's already begun. I've been today at work, a lot of people were, they had a little pep in their step and they were a little happier without even knowing why they was happier. So I saw it in real time. I saw this awakening in real time. But for the next 4 days, we're going to have some breakthrough moments that are going to flip everything real fast. And this is going to hit like a mental reset. There's going to be some patterns that are going to be breaking. We're going to be shaking off some routines. And the hardest part is that we're going to be forcing to look at truths that are going to be coming to the surface. Shit that we wanted to bury is finally going to, come into our, into our preview. And this right here, that is going to be some tower energy right there. This is tower energy in motion. That old mental structures, collapsing because they cannot hold on to this new frequency. And this is where that conditioning is going to break down. This is where thought loops and fear patterns and outdated beliefs start losing control over our perceptions. And what we used to accept without questioning starts getting challenged internally. And this is going to carry a rebellious energy too, but not chaos. This is going to be liberation. This is going to be breaking out of mental cages and belief systems and inner limits that we didn't realize that we were running these programs. The planet Uranus rules innovation. Uranus rules future thinking and sudden insights. And Gemini, the sign of Gemini, that represents the mind, thoughts, communication, and how we process life, how we speak, how we translate our inner world. Gemini is curiosity. Gemini is learning. Gemini is conversation. Gemini is perceptive shifts. Gemini energy is very fast. Gemini's energy is very adaptable, and Gemini's energy is very mentally alert. It sees multiple angles at one time. In the tarot, Gemini is always associated, well, not always, but very much associated with the Lovers. The Lovers represents the duality, choice, and mental alignment. It reflects the Gemini nature of holding two perspectives at once and integrating them into truth. It's not just about relationships, it's about inner alignment through awareness and conscious choices. And spiritually, this is where higher awareness starts filtering through the mind. You begin to recognize what feels aligned versus what feels distorted or heavy. So when Uranus enters Gemini, this becomes a mental awakening portal. This is very much the Ace of Swords energy. Cutting through the confusion, giving you clarity. This is very much truth breaking through the mental fog and new awareness switching on inside of us. This is also cognitive rewiring. We're not thinking the same way anymore because our perception itself is being shifted. So there's going to be less overthinking and more clarity-based knowing. Spiritually, this moment is going to be alignment with truth through awareness rather than effort. Like I said before, old thoughts are going to drop off and fresh ideas are going to pour in. And it's not going to be forced. They're just going to be arriving. We're going to be having these downloads. So what's meant for you is going to show up in ways you did not plan. And that is where, like, y'all, I wait a minute, where is give me a second, y'all. Where is my fool? Because there he is. This is full energy right here. Oh, y'all, I'm sorry, I cannot y'all, you know what? StreamYard is not going to let me put the full because the images that I've put up already are too big. So yeah, but it's full energy. It's it's a new path, unknown direction. But you got to but this is where trust begins to override our fear. So this energy is going to be clearing out the doubt, the fear, the worry, the mental noise. So if you feel more awake, if you feel more clear, if you feel more open and ready, this is your spirit knowing, that it's already done. So big things are already coming to you, not because you're forcing them, but because your awareness is no longer blocking them. And as this portal closes, remember this: do not try to control what's unfolding. Stay present, stay open. Let your mind stay clear. Let your mind stay clear enough to recognize what's real when it arrives. And the only thing you need to carry out of this cycle is that truth. So yeah, big shit going on today. So there you go. Anybody outside of Sal keeping his ass indoors? Anybody else want to come up here? Anybody else got anything to say about either the 7/7 portal or Earth Day? If not, speak now or forever hold your peace. Look at that planet. Look at that. Right there. And I live somewhere I live somewhere right around there, North America. Nope. All right, y'all. I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you so much. Anything interesting come through, I'm gonna try to come up here and give it to you as much as I can. Darling, we love you back. We love you back. And Miss Allen, I don't think you've heard the last of this. I don't think you've heard the last of this. So don't be feeling too defeated at this point. All right. And to everybody in the chat, thank you all for supporting her. You know, if we cannot do anything, at least we can support those people, you know, for doing what we can. And Wade, thank you for showing up, Wade. Wade, as I recall, your house looks like a jungle. So I know this day meant something to you. Okay. All right, y'all. Listen, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, share the live, whatever, do all those things. And with all that being said, I will see you all later. Y'all stay in alignment. That is your assignment. And once again, what do? Show me how good it can be. All right. All right, y'all. Stay blessed. Good night.